Did you know that over 90% of people fail to stick to their New Year's resolutions? We set these ambitious goals with the best of intentions, only to find ourselves slipping back into old routines a few weeks later. But what if I told you it's not about willpower? It's about science. Our brains are wired to seek efficiency, to automate tasks and conserve energy. This is where habits come in. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the science of habits and how you can harness their power to build a life you're truly proud of. Let's get started. Habits are the brain's way of automating tasks to save energy. Think about it. How often do you have to consciously think about brushing your teeth or driving to work? These actions have become so ingrained in our neural pathways that we perform them almost effortlessly. It all boils down to a simple three-part loop: cue, routine, reward. Imagine you're trying to build a habit of daily meditation. You set an alarm for 7 a.m., the cue. Sit down on your meditation cushion and focus on your breath for 10 minutes, the routine. And afterwards, you feel a sense of calm and clarity, the reward. Over time, as you repeat this loop consistently, your brain begins to associate the cue, the 7 a.m. alarm, with the reward, feeling calm and clear. This creates a craving, a desire to experience the reward again, which strengthens the neural pathway and makes the habit more automatic. By manipulating the cue, routine, and reward, you can engineer behaviors that lead to the outcomes you desire. The cue is the trigger that sets the habit loop in motion. It's a piece of information that predicts a reward. Cues can be external, like the sight of your phone buzzing with a notification, or internal, like a feeling of boredom or stress. The key to leveraging cues effectively is to make them obvious and unavoidable. If you're trying to build a habit of reading every morning, place a book on your bedside table so it's the first thing you see when you wake up. You can also use what I call habit stacking to your advantage. This involves linking a new habit to an existing one. By strategically placing cues in your environment and associating new habits with existing ones, you can make it easier for your brain to initiate the desired behavior. The routine is the action itself, the behavior you want to make automatic. It can be a physical action like going for a run, a mental activity like practicing gratitude, or an emotional response like reacting calmly to a stressful situation. The key to building a strong routine is to make it easy to start and repeat. We often overestimate our willpower and set ourselves up for failure by choosing routines that are too difficult or time-consuming. Instead, start small. Focus on building the habit first, even if it's just a tiny version of the ultimate goal. If you want to run a marathon, start by running for 5 minutes every day. It might seem insignificant, but it's the consistency that matters. As the routine becomes more automatic, you can gradually increase the difficulty or duration. The reward is the final piece of the habit loop, and it's arguably the most important. It's the positive reinforcement that tells your brain, this behavior is worth repeating. Rewards can be tangible, like a delicious meal or a new gadget, or intangible, like a sense of accomplishment or increased focus. The most effective rewards are those that satisfy a craving or provide immediate gratification. For example, if you're trying to build a habit of writing every day, reward yourself with a cup of your favorite tea after each writing session. You can also use rewards to reinforce positive self-identity. If you're trying to quit smoking, every time you resist a craving, remind yourself that you're a non-smoker and reinforce that identity. Over time, as your brain begins to associate the routine with the reward, the behavior becomes increasingly automatic and intrinsically motivating. Now that we understand the science behind habit formation, let's explore why so many of us struggle to make our habits stick. Most habits fail for 3 key reasons: starting too big, lack of consistency, and focusing on motivation alone. Starting too big is a common pitfall. We get excited about a new goal and try to change everything overnight. We set unrealistic expectations and then feel overwhelmed and defeated when we inevitably fall short. Lack of consistency is another major obstacle. Building lasting habits requires repetition, and that means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Life gets in the way, distractions arise, and it's easy to fall off track. Finally, many people rely too heavily on motivation. Motivation is fickle and fleeting. Building a successful habit requires a system, a set of rules and strategies that guide your behavior even when your motivation wanes. Now let's shift our focus to the practical strategies you can implement to build habits that last a lifetime. Here are 5 key principles to remember. Start small, stack habits, track your progress, celebrate milestones, and be patient. We've already touched upon the importance of starting small, but it bears repeating. Choose a habit that's so easy you can't say no. Make it ridiculously small, even if it seems insignificant at first. The goal is to build momentum and create a sense of accomplishment. Habit stacking, as we discussed earlier, is a powerful technique that leverages the power of association. Identify an existing habit and then stack your new habit on top of it. For example, after I make my morning coffee, I will meditate for 5 minutes. Tracking your progress is essential for staying motivated and accountable. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or an app to monitor your consistency. Seeing your progress visually can be incredibly motivating. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small. Acknowledge your efforts and reward yourself for your commitment. These small celebrations reinforce the positive feedback loop and keep you moving forward. Finally, be patient. Building lasting habits takes time and effort. There will be setbacks along the way. The key is to embrace the process, learn from your mistakes, and keep iterating until you find what works for you. Remember, persistence is key. Building habits isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, and making small, incremental progress. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how your life transforms. By understanding the science behind habit formation and implementing the strategies we've discussed, you can design a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Which habit will you start today? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Mind Mechanics for more powerful insights.